It is the Happy Camper Radio Show, episode 270. We're back in the studio again.
Hey,
Daniel.
finally. All right.
How you doing, buddy?
All right. Good
All right.
job.
I missed you on the last camping trip.
Yeah.
That was a little too far off for
It
you.
was very far.
For me, it was back-to-back camping trips, and wow, what a distance, what a drive that was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we got a lot to talk about
Yes,
today.
sir.
What we experienced on our trips, and some friendly advice, especially to you folks who are just getting into the world of RVing.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Camper Radio coming at you right now, episode 270. Thank you for being here. Stick around for a great show.
Happy Camper Radio.
And yes, the Happy Camper Radio Show can be heard all around the world by great listeners like yourself, Daniel. We're in all the major podcast directories. Yeah, a lot of them out there. Okay, choose whichever one that you spend time with. Plug Happy Camper Radio in there, and chances are that's where you're going to find us.
There's a lot of podcasts that I've listened to that aren't on Spotify, and Spotify is really good about like keeping your place. And you like there's a lot of podcasting apps that it's mainly podcasts, but Spotify it's like it's got your podcast, it's got audiobooks, it's got your music, and so there's a lot of podcasts that aren't on Spotify. But we're everywhere. Skip.
Yeah, that's the truth. And, and just recently, Stitcher called it quits.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Stitcher was there right from the very beginning.
I
And,
remember
I
Stitcher.
remember you introducing me to Stitcher.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That was
And,
a while ago.
Yeah, when we first started Happy
Yeah.
Camper Radio, we got on Stitcher, and it was there. But, hey, I guess that's what competition does.
So, funny thing, I don't know if this is very camping worthy, but like evidently Six Flags, and I think it's Cedar Point or Cedar something. I'm sure someone will
It's got to
correct
be
me.
Cedar Point.
Yeah, Cedar Point. They've merged, evidently, and they're both the same company.
No kidding.
So hopefully Six Flags over Atlanta gets the makeover because it's looking a little run down, and like I love going to amusement parks. So it's funny. It's funny. This will get into a thing later on, but like we're going up to Gatlinburg next weekend, and we're planning on going to Dollywood, and I haven't been there in over 20 plus years, and that's a big amusement park. So yeah, I mean, people go to amusement parks, and that's what they do on their vacations. Like what is it? National Lampoon's Vacation. It's like the whole vacation is centered around going to an amusement park. So like it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this merger and see how they deal with it. So
I haven't been to an amusement park since I can't remember when. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
I love 'em.
because of my age, I couldn't get on a roller coaster. I would lose it. I really would.
So it's funny when you're an older person, and not even older, but like someone like me, when we go to a water park and everything, we like back when I was a kid, I liked the big slides and the thrill slides and everything. But like when you get older, you love the lazy river because it's just nice and peaceful, and you just float around all day, and it's
Now that's something more up my alley.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So love the lazy river.
And anyway, Daniel, it's there's a lot of podcast directories out there where you can find Happy Camper Radio.
Overcast,
Of course, you
what I
can check
use.
us out on Facebook too at facebook.com/Happy Camper Radio. Follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter.
But you need to watch us on YouTube
There
to see
you
my
go.
shining face, because I always worry about what I'm wearing and stuff when I do this show. I'm not, I've got my green shorts on that actually. So there's a story behind these green shorts. When me and my friend went to where did we go? Amicalola. No, it wasn't.
You've gotten around.
Tallulah Gorge. Gorge. Went to Tallulah Gorge, and we got base passes and everything. We got all wet, and I lost my phone, and I cracked my rib and everything, and like we were all wet and miserable. We went up to the Walmart up the street, and I bought these shorts. They were on sale for like $5, and ever since I bought them, like these are my favorite shorts of all time because they look so 80s and they're so comfortable that, I just, whenever it's a lazy day, I got these green shorts on.
Well, check Daniel out on YouTube right now. If you're listening to us on podcast, check out our YouTube, Daniel.
Check out the green shorts.
Check out Daniel's green shorts.
Yeah.
You never know what Daniel's going to have on when he
There
shows
you
up
go.
here to do the program. But anyway, Daniel, we had a great time when we were down at Port St. Joe, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a wonderful time. Our third camping trip that you and I have been on in the past decade. And, you know, I knew right away when we got down there, and of course I showed up before you did, and it didn't take you as long to set up as it did me.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got there late at night. Next day, you two were on the run.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And that's like,
We
wow.
don't mess around.
And that's okay. Hey, I enjoyed having dinner with you all.
Mhm.
I enjoyed cooking dinner. I enjoyed having dinner there when it was time to eat.
Mhm.
Okay. And we ate like some horses there.
Oh, yeah. It was
So,
really good.
It really was. And the weather was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was one of these camping trips that it just didn't happen this particular time, Daniel. It rains normally when I'm out there camping, one way or the other, whether it be in a tent or an RV. Well, tent camping, that's history now. All right. But, yeah, I'll tell you, I just had a wonderful time. And just Sadie and I sitting around the camp, you know, and, you know, just venturing out and seeing some folks and taking a stroll around. We showed some videos on our last episode, and we actually did a show down there. If you
we did.
haven't caught episode 269,
Yep.
yeah, we did Happy Camper Radio from that particular campsite.
If you watch on YouTube, go to if you don't want to watch the whole show, you should watch the whole show. But if you really want to be entertained, go to about 6 minutes in, and you will be highly entertained. That's all I'm saying about that.
Wow, that's
All I'm gonna say. You got to watch it.
Well, Daniel, one of the things I want to talk about here, and especially for anybody that's new to the RV world, or even some of you folks who are seasoned that or been out there doing this for a while, one of the things that I've noticed here from my most recent camping trip, which was back in my home state of Pennsylvania, as well as down in Port St. Joe, don't ever count on your hookups to be right there at the edge of your campsite where, you know, you're just bringing your standard equipment in and hoping everything reaches. Because, you know, I've learned a long time ago that make sure that you bring that 50-foot extension cord with you, whether it be a 30-amp cord or a 50-amp cord. All right, carry that with you, because the small 25-foot that it comes with you may not actually reach your shore power.
Ours fit. Thank goodness. I was never really sure how far ours was, but like usually in a campground they put the power and water, you know, back towards the back
toward the rear. Yes.
Back towards the rear, but these weren't.
No, this was the first time that
Yeah.
I actually been to a campground where I found all your connections to be right there at the front of the campsite.
Yeah.
All right.
So it was kind of weird. I mean, you might have to do some adjusting if you know, if you run into a situation like that. But, you know, make sure you know. It's all about knowing your setup, knowing your gear, knowing what you have, so that you can, you know, be prepared for situations like what we had, you know.
Now, my particular RV, the water connection is toward the front of the RV. All right. So I had no problem there in connecting up to the water line. But I needed that 50-foot power cord, which connects my RV to shore power, and that had to stretch. I could have gotten away without it, but I would have had to have actually pulled my RV pretty much forward.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and now I would look like a fish out of water. All right, so no, that didn't work. So I always make it a point to bring those with me anytime I go. All right, and sometimes you need them, sometimes you don't. This is the first time in the close to 2 years that I've been traveling with an RV that I've actually had to use that extension cord. Okay, but it did come in very handy.
Oh, yeah.
And this was also this was actually the second time that we were connected to full hookup. So, you know, we had water, sewage, and electric.
Yeah, you were all about cleaning those tanks.
Yeah.
This is a cleaning tank crazy band.
You know, the only
Every
thing,
day
Daniel,
clean
the
the
only
tanks.
thing I did forget, I did forget, and I normally don't forget anything.
No,
all
you
right?
don't. You're on the ball.
I
on the ball skip, that's what we call them.
I didn't realize it until I got there that they had free cable.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I didn't have my coax line to run from
Yeah,
their
but you
connection
had
point.
over the air, and that was good enough.
Yeah, and I didn't watch much television because I don't when I'm camping.
You had it on. Okay, I don't know how much you're gonna like this. You might cut this out of the show, but
No.
you always talk about when your mom comes over and she has to have the television on and everything, and all of that. And we saw that your television was on a lot.
Yeah, well, Daniel,
over on
it's
the other
mainly there.
side.
It's mainly there for noise.
I get
okay?
it. Hey, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm no judgment here, because it's funny you say that, because like we were, cleaning up our house today because, it's Sunday and we try to prepare for the next week. And, Deidre always has to have something on the TV to get her, mind, occupied in the background or whatever. And I mean, I totally get the background, but your TV was on a lot, don't you?
I like to have it on at nighttime especially those nights where I'm having trouble falling asleep.
Yeah, I get it. Hey, I'm
yeah.
not judging. I'm just saying you had it on a bit.
Okay, but I mean, I was not really there to watch TV. I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah, I get it. It's a
I can
background.
actually sit outside
Mhm.
the RV.
It was fun. Like
I can talk to Sadie; she won't
Yeah.
talk back.
Well,
all right?
I remember I remember you and me, hanging out outside, It was I don't know. I mean, like you and me here doing the show, it's nice and relaxing, but nothing beats out on a campground, late at night, the grasshoppers are cricking or whatever, you hear the frogs, and we're just sitting there enjoying the ambiance, just talking and just relaxing,
And even if you don't have that ambiance, Daniel, all you have to do is just turn to the left and look at the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Right there.
That was nice.
It was. Yeah.
That was really nice.
So that was
It
my,
was interesting, though, because, like, it was nothing like I've ever experienced before, because it's in kind of a bay, and evidently it's very shallow. So you had a lot of people that were out, it looked like, into the middle of the water, searching for crabs and shrimp and everything, and they'd be up to their knees, and all they had was like a net and a bucket. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And
well, one of the things, that we've talked about here in recent weeks, actually off the program, is, is probably sometime next year I might get lucky and get that pontoon boat that I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And we actually intended to rent one of those boats while we were down there, but,
the time is just
the timing
crazy.
is alwaay going to get in the way. Right.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but that would have been a great.
If we were both
little
retired, we
stroll.
definitely would have.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, when we were talking about it, we were thinking about, I think we should maybe try to figure out some way to do a show on Lake Lanier, like rent out a pontoon boat and bring out our out of the studio gear and maybe do a show on the pontoon boat.
That would work.
That'd be kind of cool.
That sure would.
Yeah.
I'm not a fisherman, okay?
Yeah, I'm not either.
I gave up fishing a long time ago, but I think just being out there and just relaxing on the lake and, passing other boaters and waving and
When I had to pay for a license for fishing, that's when I quit fishing.
only Daniel.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll tell you, that was a wonderful vacation.
Absolutely.
Now, I also knew that while we were down there, I was going to come back, and it was going to be a short stay here at home because I had to hit the road and drive all the way up to Pennsylvania. All right.
That's
now
very far.
I made that a 2-day trip.
That's
all right.
smart.
Yeah, it really was. And, Sadie was with me the whole time.
Did you stop? Did you stop halfway?
I did stop at the rest stop.
Okay.
All right. And, the nice thing about the RV is you can pull off to the side. You can go on back there. And for me, I took full advantage of that. All right. Yes, I was tired. I was ready to put my head down and relax. All right. But also at the same time, I got to go back there and cook dinner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice
So
job.
I did all that. And there was really no other RV parked over where I was at
That's good.
that time.
Yeah.
All right. But I did get to put on the heater because it started getting cold.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been cold for a while. I mean, depending on where you're listening to this from, like in Georgia, if it's in the 50s, it's cold.
Now, I didn't spend an entire 8 hours at the rest stop. I mean, I got the rest that I needed.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
and
the important part.
When I finally opened the door to go out and, in the morning time, let's say to do her business and get ready to pack up and hit the road again, there were about 5 or 6, 7 RVs parked
wow.
there. Yeah, so they all had the same idea. They followed me
That
there.
is smart.
Right?
Yeah.
And, and that's a good thing about these rest areas. That's it's a good place for you to pull off and take advantage of that rest. You don't want to be falling asleep on the road.
Yeah.
All right. So, take advantage of that. You don't have any power to be hooked up or anything like that. But if you have all the luxuries that you have that you're going to be using at your campsite, minus the electricity, you can, take advantage of them right there at the rest stop.
I always wonder if they should have maybe like a dump station and like
Some do.
Do they really?
There are some.
So
yeah.
like a dump station and like a water station where you can refill your tanks and everything, and you can hit the road.
Yeah, there are some dump
that's
stations across the country on the interstate that do offer dump stations.
Okay, cool.
Some of them charge, I
smart.
don't know, maybe $10 or something, so you can go ahead and dump your
Yeah,
tanks.
because like these people, they're traveling hundreds and maybe thousands of miles, and you don't want them to fall asleep at the wheel. I mean, because some of these RVs, I mean, they're as big as Mack trucks, and you don't want someone to fall asleep at the wheel, and God forbid something happen.
Right.
But you want to be equipped for people to take advantage of all the amenities they can.
Yeah, and I definitely take advantage of every possible
Absolutely. That's
opportunity
smart.
I
That's very
can, and
smart.
especially if I'm going to be traveling like I did between Lilburn, Georgia, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's far.
All right. So,
So like next year we're planning on going up to Evansville, Indiana, and literally the only reason we're going up there is because there's going to be a total solar eclipse that's going to go through that pathway, and so Evansville, Indiana is the hometown of one of my wife's best friends from work, and we're going to go up there and see it. But Indiana, it's pretty far from here, so we're going to stop in Nashville on the way up, and thank goodness we have some friends and family that live in Nashville, and we're going to stay there. But if you didn't, and you like yourself had an RV, you'd want to stop somewhere like that. And the good thing about a rest stop or a Walmart or whatever, it's like you only want to stop for 8 hours. Whenever you don't want to spend $50-$60 for like a RV site or whatever. And like if you're not an RV person, you have to go to a hotel and spend hundreds of dollars. Like a few years ago, when we came back from Maui, we had a layover in San Jose, and it was like 16 hours. So we kind of slept in the terminal of the airport because it wasn't worth paying $200 for a hotel for like 6 hours. But like if you were camping and stuff, and you had an RV, you don't have to pay like hundreds of dollars to just stop somewhere for like 7-8 hours just to get enough rest to continue on. So like, I feel like it's very important to have facilities like that because it's a safety thing. It promotes safety, I feel,
Yeah, I don't think I could get into airport camping. I would have to venture off and get a
yeah, I
hotel
mean, it
room.
was
It's wow.
like, so we were in one spot at one time, and then me and Skip, we live in the Atlanta area, and me growing up here my whole life, Atlanta, we'd go to the Atlanta airport a lot, and like it's funny, in school I went to the Atlanta airport as a field trip, and the Atlanta airport is literally the busiest airport in the world. So like I just figured all the airports were like that, but they're not anywhere near like Atlanta, because Atlanta is open 24/7, 365. And a lot of airports, shut down after a while. So when we were in San Jose, we kind of just had to like pick a corner, pick a spot or whatever, and like prop some chairs up and like hope for the best. So, and like when we went to France and we went to Charles de Gaulle, they have like pods that, you could sleep in and stuff. And I think at Atlanta, they have an area where you can rent a room for so many hours and rest. But like as far as RVing, it's always nice to have the option of the rest stop, or I know Walmarts are pretty good about letting you stay there for extended hours or whatever. But like it really feels good to know that is an option.
Yeah,
it is really nice.
Well, Daniel, when I got up to Pittsburgh here this past week, I arrived on a Monday, all right, and it was really nice prior to me arriving. The
Okay.
cold temperatures didn't get there until I arrived,
Mhm.
all right, and that was okay. I don't mind cold, but on Wednesday morning when we
Yeah.
got up and stepped outside, there was snow on the ground.
Oh boy, how much
Yeah.
snow?
Just enough to blanket it. It didn't last. All right, but wow, was it cold. But we
Holy
had the furnace
cow.
going on inside the RV, so we really didn't know. And I had the
Mhm.
blinds down, and it was cold the night before.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the things that, and I always make sure that I go to NOAA.gov,
Mm-hmm.
all right, and check the 7-day forecast. I do that always, loyally, every time I go camping,
Mm-hmm.
especially on a trip like the one I made to Pittsburgh this time of year, because we all know that water starts to freeze at 32 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
The coldest it got while I was there, it went down to 27. And
Oof.
it kind of concerns me in a way, because
Mhm.
I didn't want any frozen lines
Yeah.
in my RV, and I always make it a point that when I see the temperature getting close to freezing, when I bed down for the night, I will open up cabinets anywhere there may be a water line,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in the bathroom, under the kitchen sink, just to make sure some of that heat circulates under there. The underbelly of the RV is very protected too. So, I don't think the 32-degree temperature is going to really affect that until the temperature drops even more.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have that problem. Of course, I had my hot water heater on, and everything was fine.
Mhm.
All right. But, we did have a problem with frozen water lines at the campsites. And it was kind of interesting because every other site had a heated element above the water faucet,
Mm-hmm.
which they installed there to keep the water, keep it warm and keep it from freezing.
Mm-hmm.
But my campsite didn't have one of them.
Hmm.
And on 2 days that I was there, that water line was frozen. Okay. So, of course, I made it a point the night before to go ahead and disconnect both at the RV and at the faucet right there to campground, because I didn't want to have any
Yeah.
freezing issues running up into my RV.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I did make it a point to go ahead and disconnect that. Now, after getting a shower in the morning and going out and wanting to replenish my freshwater tank, I come to find out that water was frozen inside the line.
So you
Okay.
couldn't get it out of the faucet?
No, I couldn't get it out of the faucet. All right, nor could I could connect it up because my water line was frozen. Now I had one of those Camco flex hoses,
Mm-hmm.
which are really nice. I've got 2 of those because I carry an extra one with me just in case. Like we had a situation down in Florida, and of course we had a situation like that in Pennsylvania too. This particular hookup was at the very back of the campsite,
Mm-hmm.
maybe about 20 feet away from where you
Okay.
back in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did need those extensions there. Okay, but my brother was parked next to me, and he left out the day before I did, and nobody was coming in, so I went ahead on over and used the heated
Okay.
faucet to connect up. But you ask yourself, well, how are you going to go get that frozen water out of your lines? Yeah, I can't see spending money on a heated hose. Okay.
Mhm.
The guy that was parked on the other side of me, he had one of them.
Okay.
And when he found out, that his connection was also frozen too, he brought out his heated hose. Well, that wasn't going to do him any good right at the moment.
Yeah.
So I already had mine thawed out. And how did I thaw mine out, Daniel? I rolled it up, brought it in the RC, and gave it a hot shower.
Nice. So here's my question. So you've got the little hookup where you turn the thing on and the water comes out. So you're saying that the water didn't come out because
It didn't come out. It was frozen.
So
Yeah, that's how cold it was.
okay,
Daniel.
so here's my question. I feel like, okay, so they had the heated element on every other site, but couldn't they put like the insulation thing on like the thing that goes up? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they could have, and maybe they did because it was inside of some type of housing.
Yeah.
Okay, but still the bottom line was the water was frozen.
That's
Okay,
weird.
and that can be kind of expected too this particular time of year.
Yeah.
Especially for a campground that's open year round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it gets pretty cold in up there in Pennsylvania, but we did make it work, and it was a learning lesson for me. All right, because fortunately I was able to connect up to my brother's site after he
Yeah.
left, And of course, I could have done that while he was there. He would have let me do it anyway. All right. But, the concern was when you got your water hose that you've had out all night long and it has water in it, it's going to freeze.
Yeah.
So, it very simply for me, I just brought that in, rolled it up, and I put it in the shower, and I hosed everything off, and I ran some water down to that line, and you could actually hear the ice breaking up. Okay. So it took me about 10, 15 minutes before I had all that water out of there. Once that was done, I went out there, reconnected, and I was able to force water into my freshwater holding tank. So it worked out.
It just seems like they would have had some kind of I just feel like they could have some kind of insulation thing around the whole thing. So, I mean, I don't even know if you have to have a heated element. I feel like if you had like a insulation setup, that it wouldn't be that. So, like on the camper or on the RV sites part, like everything's insulated, and then it's up to you as far as you getting the water. The water's fine up until you getting it, but like you do whatever you need to do. If it's a heated hose or an insulated hose or whatever, but like I find that interesting that they don't have it, insulated all the way around, and it's just exposed metal. Because I mean, like we we don't have to deal with that kind of stuff down here. I don't think we've had real snow in over 4 years, and it barely gets cold. I mean, and like if it gets cold enough, I mean, they say turn your water on and your faucets and everything. And it's funny. I asked you about that, and you're like, oh, it wouldn't have made that big of a deal. But I was like, that's what everyone knows, to leave their faucet dripping so that their pipes don't freeze over.
Well, Daniel, knock on wood, the whole camping trip was uneventful. Okay, so outside of that, if that's all I had to concern myself with, I did all right, especially camping this time of year. Daniel, it's time now for our featured campground of the week right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Happy Camper Radio.
And Daniel, anytime that we go camping at a campground, all right, and we bring back those memories, we always make it a point to feature that campground on the show. Last episode, we were at the Port St. Joe campground. All right. This time, I was at the Mountain Top Campground. And Daniel, they don't call it Mountain Top for no reason. Wow. The Mountain Top Campground in Tarentum, Pennsylvania. It is a campground, Daniel, one of very few in that area that is open year-round. And wow, did we have to climb a hill to get up there. All right. And, of course, I got a good old Ford F-150, and it pulled that RV right up. Yep. And it was a really nice campground, Daniel.
Yeah.
And, and you go there, you make all your reservations online. You confirm your reservations online. You pay online.
What spot did you have?
I had spot 45.
There you go.
Now
lucky 45, folks.
Yeah, and my brother made his reservation before me, and he parked at site 46. And what did I get? Site 45.
You got the Biden site.
Yeah. But anyway, this was real cool, and this was one of the campgrounds, Daniel. I didn't get a chance to meet the owners. I didn't get to meet anybody up there representing Mountaintop Campground because it's a self check-in.
Oh, okay.
You get up there, okay, and they have a little space right there that you pull in your RV, and there's a building there just to your left. You go there, and they have your site number and your name on a card, and you go ahead and pick that up, and you go right to your site and set up.
Did they have a host? Did they have a camp host or anything?
No, there wasn't a camp host there at all.
That's sad.
Okay? But, if you needed firewood, if you needed ice, they had that available with self-pay.
Okay. Did they have a dispenser for ice and stuff?
No, they had one of those big ice machines. You open the door, you grab your bag of ice.
What about the firewood? How'd that work?
They're in bags, and they were right there on the porch.
And you just get it, huh?
You just go ahead and get it, and you drop your money in the box.
That's what I like.
Like the honor system.
That's what I like. Exactly. That's what I like about campers. We take care of each other, and we don't cause a ruckus, and we're honest with each other, and that it just feels good. It just makes you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
And society. Like if you ever think that the world's coming to an end and everyone sucks in the world, just go to a campsite and realize that, hey, we're still a community. We still love each other. We still, can trust each other, and everything's good.
It is a place
You know?
where you're going to meet the nicest people in the
Exactly.
world. Anyway, the Mountaintop Campground, like we say, is open year-round. But come November 15th of the year, it's only open for campers who are camping weekly or monthly. All right. So if you're going to make your reservations at a campground like this in Pennsylvania, and it's not very far away from the stadium where, if you want to catch a ball game during the spring or summer months, you're only about a
Pittsburgh.
15-20 minute drive away.
There you go.
Okay. So if
Steelers,
you're
baby.
into sports, you could go ahead and do that. But I'll tell you what, if you get up there, Daniel, the scenery is spectacular. The mountaintop view. Yeah, that's why they call it Mountaintop Campground. And in the summer months, they've got bands that come there. They've got a stage, bluegrass
wow.
music. Yeah,
Oh,
you can get
cool.
out there and you can relax and just walk around and meet wonderful folks. And I tell
Yeah.
you what, there were folks there from all over the country. I saw license plates from Wisconsin, Mississippi, Missouri.
Wow.
Yeah, and the guy parked next to me, I think he was from Iowa. So yeah, I mean, a
That's
lot of people
awesome.
travel. They're looking for a great place to go camping.
Yeah.
And this is one of those ones in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, actually Tarentum, Pennsylvania, which is a suburb of Pittsburgh. If you're ever going to go up there and you want to do some camping at some very high elevation, wants to get some great view, this is one campground you may want to consider. It is the Mountaintop Campground. And it is our featured campground of the week right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Skip and Daniel. HappyCamperRadio.com.
And of course, the campgrounds are going to be open here very shortly. The Army Corps sites, they're closed down right now, but Daniel, they're going to be open up again very, very soon.
Oh, yeah.
And I will be making my reservations, especially up there on Lake Sidney Lanier, one of my favorite places to go camping.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, folks, if you have a campground you'd like for us to feature on the program, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, or this guy.
Daniel at happycamperradio.com.
And be sure to include a link to the campground website. Daniel, always a pleasure to have you in the radio.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, we got the wrong jingle, didn't we?
Hey.
Do we want to open the show again? You want to do it all over?
Hey, we can do it.
We can do
I
that.
feel
No.
like we didn't talk enough.
No, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. But anyway, Daniel, now let's see if we can hit the right button this time
Okay.
and close this show out for the day. Yeah. All right, there we go. So, Daniel, we're going to go ahead and do it again real soon.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right now,
We got a lot more to talk about.
I'm winterizing the RV. It's going to be down here for a few months, but we're going to be dreaming ahead.
Oh,
for
yeah.
2024. Got a lot of great camping trips to look forward
Definitely.
to. Remember, friends, every pet deserves a loving home. I want you to do exactly as I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. We're on the web 24/7 at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/happycamperradio. Follow us on X. And by all means, check out our YouTube channel where you can see Daniel and I right here in the studio.
Green short.
The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I'm a happy camper. Daniel's a happy camper. We'll be doing it again real soon. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye-bye, everybody.
Happy